Hi, welcome to Two Dawn Doctors. I'm Liz Mealy.
I'm Maria Shahada.
And look who we have back.
Been a long time.
We got Dr. Terry back.
It's been a long time. That's our bad. We just think you're like enjoying retirement and like going skydiving and stuff. Better things
to be on the podcast. Every day.
Yeah.
Rock climbing. She has 3 boyfriends. It's crazy. She's so busy. Really what happens, because she's been staying with me for a couple of days, is she's up like 4 hours before me, and she's had 6 cups of coffees. Oh, your little coffee thing you left because I don't have a coffee maker. She's like, that's why we keep Maria around. She's like, what's the coffee situation? I was like, Maria literally bought something, and she's like, keep it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little percolator.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I'm so glad I went to good use, because like I came back, I hadn't seen you in 2 years, so I came back in July after lockdown, and that thing was crusted over. Maybe you don't want to know this, but it was disgusting. I don't know, like she didn't know it was dirty, so it just stayed
beans in it or whatever. So I had to like do a real clean.
She did.
We both just didn't realize that like
probably mold was in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was crusted over. It was moldy. It was disgusting.
Not moldy.
2 years of that. Anyway, we cleaned it. You're good.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I made it beautiful. But it truly was. Mom's like, what's like? I picked my mom at the train station. She's like, what's the coffee situation? She's like, I already have a headache. And I was like, about like 5 bags of coffee. She's good.
Yeah, good.
Well, in exactly a week I'll have a kitten. So when we come back from break, hopefully there'll be like little kitten legs that go across the screen. And then, well, actually that's not true, because the first one back will probably be our live taping. And then
I can't wait for this podcast to become 2 non-tater tots. It's just gonna be all about tater tots.
All about tater tots. And then we'll probably have like Christmas sweaters, because it'll be post-Christmas. It'll be like some outfit that we just feel obligated to wear for a week. And then I think that's about it. Okay, I'm out.
Wait, so when do you get her? I wasn't listening. Him.
Next Thursday, so a week from today.
Ooh.
She gets neutered on Wednesday, and then he gets neutered on Wednesday, and then he's so disoriented from losing his manhood that I pick him up, and then I have him, and he's mine.
We've talked about this before, but have you ever, I know Dr. Terry, you've done it, but have you ever watched a cat get like, oh no, it was declawed, that was traumatic. Neutered, I've never seen.
What? Neutered, it's just chopping off some stuff?
You want to know how it's
done? I do kind of want to know how a neuter is done.
So they're sedated.
Okay.
Of course. And then we shave the area, scrub it.
What area?
And then we put a local block. Then you take a scalpel blade, you cut over the testicle, and you pull it out.
Oh God.
Enough so that you could tie it off, and then you cut. And then you do it to the other side.
And then you just re-sew it back. Like
no, you don't sew it. You just leave them open.
You leave them open?
It heals. They're fine.
What?
It's very easy. I could teach anyone to do it.
What?
Maria's face. He's like, what?
It's a 5-minute procedure.
Pull it out and tie it like a balloon end. Snip it off. And then just leave it. The cat's on his own.
You put back the cord.
Although I will say this, so my friend Ashley, she's an equine vet, and she has a bunch of goats, and we were talking about how
they don't even use locals.
They don't use local. They actually just they put like a cinch or something on it, and they just let them kind of die off. Like they literally, think of it like putting a rubber band on your finger.
Umbilical cord, and isn't that what you do with an umbilical cord? You just sort of let it fall off. You clamp it.
The blood supply is gone. I mean, I don't know.
Yes, but an umbilical cord compared to your testicles feels different. Just feels different. So like she told me this at a 4th of July party. They're like, oh yeah, I meant to do it before you guys are here because they scream a lot. What? I was like, we're at like a pool party, and she's talking. I know we shouldn't laugh, but I was just like, you do what to goats' testicles? You're my friend. I don't trust you anymore. Like, I was like, oh my God.
But all the farm animals, if they don't do it like that, then they have like this instrument that like crushes them.
Ah,
Just crush, and they're held down.
Oh,
It's
okay.
crushed and then you cut.
Oh, everybody tuned out. Everybody's tuned out.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I loved that. I was like, how
But
can we
for the
TikTok
cats,
this?
for
Just
the
your
cats,
mom.
created, and they have a local. It's very humane.
Oh, it's very humane. What were you saying, Maria?
Just how much I enjoyed that exchange. Just your mom like talking about crushing animals' testicles and you going, oh, and it was just amazing.
You should just imagine what the men are thinking.
Yeah. Oh, we did a whole episode on circumcision. We've never got so many emails.
Well, the funny thing is, anytime a guy was in like the office and I talked about a dog neuter, this should be done. Like they're in the corner, the cat,
like holding their balls. They're like, oh.
And I said, it's your pet. Huh?
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
But yeah, it's fun. I need to go out of my way to tell them about it.
I just know. So all I remember. So my little sister had a ton of mice. So it started out 2 female mice, and then one turned out not to be female. And next thing you know, we had a shit ton of mice. Like every week we had new mice babies. And so my mom just started trying to neuter all of them. So she's like, I'm not gonna kill them, but so she would you would put them in a bag, and she would
it was hard to sedate them.
So she would put them in a bag and put like the gas in to try to sedate them. So I'm just like, my mom is just like, I'm like walking in on my mom and she has like a mouse in a bag, just looking super suspicious.
Mice are like, just kill me.
Yeah.
I actually got good at it. They have tiny balls, but it's the same situation. But you sedate them with a gas.
Just end it, man.
Doesn't this feel like
I did her rats too. Her rat. They were a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I support my mom to the gym.
I kind of want to neuter like something now, and just like have Dr. Terry have you walk us through it, and just like
yeah.
Like,
Non-veterinarians. But I just have this image, like I wish it was like the old days where you would like bring a boy home and get your parents' approval, because I just love the idea that like a boy sits on the couch and my mom's just like, I could neuter you in 10 minutes. My daughter.
That's right. With or without anesthesia.
Oh, we've missed you. We've missed you on the podcast. God knows everybody learns a lot more when you're here. Should we get into announcements?
Yeah, everybody uncross your legs now. We're getting into announcements.
Yeah, we're moving on. Oh God. Thank you to all our Patreons. We are super grateful grateful to you. If you don't know, by becoming a Patreon, you can get early access to episodes. You can get weekly bonus episodes. You can get monthly bonus episodes. You can become a Google guest. You can control our Googles. You get stickers. You get a signed book if you want. You get access to our stand-up. Tons of options. So patreon.com/2non-doctors, full word doctors, to become a Patreon.
Yeah, follow us on the socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at 2non-doctors, full word doctors, and Instagram at 2non-DRS. And if you have time and you're feeling nice, please leave us a rate and review, because it helps us out a lot. It helps us get seen. We love it. We share it on our socials. We get really like nice ones, and then we start crying. So if you want to make us cry, leave something nice.
Yeah. And our next episode is going to be our live episode. So if you actually want to come to the live episode, it is December 29th. Maria will be in town, and we'll be at Union Hall in Brooklyn, 7:30. And we'll do some stand-up. We'll do a live episode. It's going to be magical.
Yeah, come. I'm getting all the tests, so
Yeah, all the tests.
I'll make it worth
every
it.
day. The test. And then just for myself, January I'll be in LA, Oxnard, and Irvine. February I think I'll be in Raleigh. March should be a European tour. I'm slowly building it up, but it should be Antwerp, Utrecht, Prague, London, hopefully Germany, and then May I'll be in Michigan. But all that stuff will slowly be on my website as I get ticket links. Maria?
Yeah, I'm starting to book in 2022. Mostly it's all London dates, a couple of Brighton dates, but I'll put it on my website probably next week.
Yeah. Fan mail?
All right, fan mail. Let's see. It's from Paul. He says, only recently found you two. Love your comedy. Funny, thoughtful, thought-provoking. Doesn't get any better than that. Also find your efforts to work on yourselves interesting. Sorry. It's a compliment, but it felt really like very interesting work.
Clearly, work needs to be done.
Kudos to you both for trying. I know how hard I know how hard it can be. He's being sincere, I think, but like, it really is like,
Yeah, no, just kind of be like, you needed the work, you did your best, and
yeah.
you won't even try. So
Some thoughts to share you may find useful. An incomplete definition of love. Being in love is a self-centered occupation, really doesn't have much to do with anyone but yourself. Loving someone means you care about them as much as you do about yourself. If you don't care much about yourself, you can't care much about anyone else. There are of course, many degrees of this. Genetics. Studies of identical twins separated at birth, adopted, show that genetic propensities define nearly every aspect of your personality as well as your body. Likes, dislikes, work preferences, attitude. Differences in nurture may affect how these propensities exhibit. I see why you're asking me to read this. Difficult. Okay, so differences in nurture may affect how those propensities exhibit, but not whether they exist. Genes are not just on off. Some have rheostats, like volume control, that can be dialed up or down. Genes can be turned on and off as well as dialed up or down during your life. Note, propensities are just that, a built-in way to do stuff. Doesn't mean you have to do it that way. Because it's built in, it's likely impossible to completely remove it. You can only dial it up or down, and you likely have to do that over and over again all your life. Epigenetics. Experiences of your ancestors can be encoded in your genes. Phobic, probably an ancestor had some bad experience. Speculation. Your genes can store more than all that. They can store the genetic equivalent of memory of your ancestors' experiences. You can know, like knows in quotes, you can know things without knowing how you know. You can, in some cases, remember things that never happened to you. You may learn some things faster than others because you have a genetic memory of having learned it before. I'm sure you can come up with other interesting possibilities. Have fun.
I love that email so much.
Yeah, the genetics thing. I'm like, is this why I feel like I felt so connected to Paris, having never been there? I'm like, every fall I get nostalgia for Paris. That's like, even though I've never been, when I was like a teen, and I'm like, maybe my ancestors just actually they traveled to Paris and loved it, and I'm just remembering that.
Yeah.
It's just in my blood.
Yeah, Paris is in your blood. I think that's absolutely true. I don't know. I mean, I what I one appreciated about Paul's email is there's full books talking about genetics and ancestors and all that, like all that stuff, and he did it so densely. But like, because there's actually a whole ancestor book that I want to read that literally talks about like some of the things that I might hate doing, or some of the things that might cause me stress might be because my great grandmother had a situation, you know what I mean? Like, and they absolutely know we pass down trauma. But what I loved about this is like, you can pass down skills in some way. Like the reason, and we all talk about like, my son was a cobbler, my dad was a cobbler, my son was a cobbler, my grandson's a cobbler. Like, but like, what about when they never teach you? Or what about, what is it that maybe even genetically you might just be good with your hands, or you have a way of just innately knowing how to do something. Also with like genetics being turned on and off, like I think I remember talking to somebody, my brothers are 9 and 11 years younger than me, but I remember Sammy and Greggy just being like one and just having their personality. So it's like very weird as a non-parent to have seen somebody grow up and been like, Greggy was always weird. Like he was just he always did his own thing. He never really needed anybody's approval, and he was always like a fun kind of weird. And it's now seeing him 26, like, yeah, like clearly there's influence and things that happen, but that's interesting about twins where like even if they're never together, there is just some stuff that was already downloaded, and then clearly, where you are and who raises you and experiences shift that here and there. But I don't know, that stuff always kind of both makes me sad and gives me hope to know that like you are who you are and there's only so much that you can change. And then even therapy has kind of helped me in the sense that like I don't know if my anxiety is ever going to go away, but I have been in situations of recently, the last couple of years, where I know normal Liz would be like, "Wah!" and like freaking out, and I'll just be like, well, this sucks. This sucks. And this is going to be a bad day. How do we handle this? And being able to deal with it. And then as I get out of the situation, being like, oh, that was a bad day, but I handled it in a way that I was happy about, or I was stressed, but I didn't exhibit old Liz reactions.
Yeah. Yeah, I found that really interesting about like being able to dial up and down your tendencies, your genetic like I feel like I was just born annoyed. I feel like I got that from my dad, and I feel like I've spent my whole adult life trying to tone that down. But I don't know.
You came out of the womb like this was an inconvenience. Yeah. Do you feel like there's anything that's like a part of you that you're not even sure where it came from? Maybe your bitchy personality.
Yeah, maybe that.
I think it's the bitchiness. I definitely get that from her.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm always trying to cut off balls,
How
you know.
about- yeah.
Yeah.
What if I went to go do my first neuter and I somehow just knew how to do it?
Yeah,
Like-
that wouldn't surprise me at all.
It is, I mean, because it is hard to differentiate between the fact that like my dad is really handy, my mom is very capable, and I do feel like a more kind of capable person. But also, how is that not just my dad was like, you just need to do it, or watching your parents just be efficient? Like, you know what I mean? How much is it the influence of when something needs to get done, you watched your parents do it, and or your parents taught you, and how much of it is if my parents left me at 4, which they probably wanted to, I would have just always been a handy person.
Yeah. Somebody's phone go off, or was that your computer or what?
My computer just makes sounds and I don't know what to do about it.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was a great email, Paul.
Yeah, Paul, thank you so much.
Okay.
It was fun.
You want to start with a Dr. Terry Google?
Yeah. Yay.
Google?
I am. I did some research.
And doing
And
research all day yesterday.
yes, I studied. Wait until you hear it. You wonder why I even looked it up. And I want to take out my hair
Yeah,
at the
we
end to
all-
show how long it is.
Oh, my mom's hair is crazy long now. It's crazy.
I haven't gotten a haircut since quarantine started. Do gummy vitamins work as well as regular
Ooh,
vitamins?
I love this Google because I only eat gummy vitamins because like I have a hard time swallowing. So, and I was like, it just feels like candy. It feels like I'm not doing anything.
Also, can I just paint a picture? You walk into my parents' kitchen, they have like this cabinet, and it is like a bar. It's like you got the vitamin C, you got the iron, you got the women's one a day, you got, what, but it's like 6, I'm not even joking, it's like almost 16 of them. And I once was like, let me get my vitamins. And it was too much candy. Like it was just too much.
Yeah.
It started with just vitamin D, then it did get crazy. Then, with COVID, you needed vitamin C and zinc and B12. But anyway, so I had this feeling that does taste like candy. Is it doing? But I never wanted to look it up. So this time I did Google it, and believe it or not, it's not as good.
Oh no.
Oh. So one of the reasons why it's not as good is that you can't tell exactly how much of the vitamin is really in your gummy, because what they do, because it breaks down very quickly in a gummy, they overstock it with the vitamin. So it may start out that you're getting too much vitamins, but over time with shelf life, you're not sure what the strength is.
Yeah.
So you look at the label, it might be 500 milligrams of vitamin C, but who knows, in the start, it may be more than that. And at the end, it may be you're eating a gummy.
Okay.
The other thing was too much sugar.
No,
It's crazy.
They
And
are
it's actually
delicious.
bad for your teeth. They use citric acid, which isn't good for your enamel.
Okay.
And they said it's like taking a sugar pill. And there's a lot of sugar in it. And there's artificial flavoring. You don't know how much you're getting.
That's such a disappointment.
It's very much, I'm not going to stop, just to let you know. It didn't affect me. I just now know the truth. And you could take too many of them. Like, could you imagine a kid gets a hold of it? And there is vitamin toxicity on certain things.
Yeah.
And it's funny, my son Greg comes over thinking he needs a snack. He went to them and started. So it is a danger with kids and
apparently adults.
So yeah, that was. But the funny thing about, at some point I realized it's probably too much sugar. I mean, I looked at the label and it's eight. What was that? Grams? 8 grams. Yeah, grams of sugar, and I'm thinking, and that was one vitamin. So I finally put it in my app where I keep track of my stuff. So my morning is 3 cups of coffee and
like 45 grams of sugar.
my vitamins. I think that's so sad.
How many calories are in one vitamin? Were you able to check that?
Well, some of them, like a serving size, like the vitamin C is a serving size. It was 3. Those are my favorite. It might be 15 calories. So by
Shit.
the end of my vitamin, intake, it's like 80 calories.
Um,
And
that's,
remember, I'm intermittent fasting, so I'm not sure that.
I don't think you are.
Never like fasting. I took my vitamins and now I'm, I
I'm
have,
gonna need sugar.
I have an insulin spike.
But the gummy bears, the gummy vitamins, I mean, it is good for kids because if you can't get them to take a vitamin. And the other thing that was good about me, I was low in vitamin D.
They
and
say
it was
that vitamin D works.
Yeah, it does because of blood tests. And I could never be consistent. I am very consistent with these gummies.
I'm consistent with the gummies too, because I was like thinking of all the vitamins I need. Because I'm taking a liposomal vitamin C, which is like it comes in a gel, like, and you can shoot it like an oyster, or you can like mix it up. But it's supposed to emulate your cell membrane so that it actually absorbs the vitamin C, because they say that you lose a lot of vitamin C, just you never digest it. So are the pills better?
I think they say because for at least you don't get all the sugar and the calories, and what's in them is what's on the label, so it's more standardized. But I have to tell you, at least the vitamin D, because I did get a blood test, I was low, and the next year my vitamin D is within range. And everyone has trouble with vitamin. No one's going outside, and
Yeah, I know, especially moving from LA to the UK. It's like I think my vitamin D dropped a lot. I had a doctor tell me that. So that was one thing I wanted.
Gummies work.
Yeah.
Just be aware of the calories.
Okay.
I will say I did the vitamin D because I was low, and then I read every review on the gummies, and then I did it and I got another blood test and I was up. So I do think at least for the vitamin D they do work.
Great.
And maybe you just pick gummies for 1 or 2, maybe not every single vitamin. Because that's the thing is, like, I don't know if you noticed this morning, I had water with apple cider vinegar. It's supposed to be like really good for your gut health, but it hurts my stomach sometimes. Like and it's, besides it being absolutely disgusting. So apple cider vinegar started to be kind of talked about as being like a good thing for your gut health and just good in general. So I did it for a while. I stopped. I started doing it again. But in general, they came out with a gummy vitamin maybe like a year ago, and then every celebrity is like, this is how I get my apple cider vinegar, but it's like this huge ass, it's like bigger than a quarter, and you're like, hey man, if it's for gut health and the thing is packed with sugar, did I get it? Of course I got it, but I was like, immediately I was like, this is too delicious to do anything. I just don't. So and it was expensive. Great Google. So
that was an excellent Google.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I
At first I thought it was dumb.
No, I told her it was a great Google. All right, Maria, Google.
You go next, because like I think I know what my Google is, but it's boring. I'm pretty sure I Googled it before, so I might try to find something else.
Okay, mine's environmental and cat related. How bad is silica gel for the environment? The reason I Googled this is, I'm getting my kitten, and they basically shut up.
We didn't hear nothing about it.
I don't like the sarcasm. I like made my mom go to PetSmart.
You're getting a kitten.
No one listens to me.
First that we heard about. Okay.
Yeah. Been talking about this kitten before it existed. So anyway, everybody says that regular litter is terrible. Just the clay, it's bad for the environment. There's dust in the air. It smells like poop everywhere. Like in general. So I was like, I want to do something that's more environmentally friendly. And as soon as I start Googling litter, of course, every ad everywhere is there YouTube, everything I'm watching is pushing Pretty Litter. But Pretty Litter, and that's the brand, it's what's called Pretty Litter. I look at it and I go, I don't know. It looks like plastic. And like, of course, they're all being like, it doesn't smell, it absorbs, And I was like, it seems nice. And so, of course, I look it up and it's silica gel. And I go, isn't that the stuff, like, when you get vitamins to do a callback and it's like, it's in the packets, or you buy a pair of shoes and it's those little packets. I go, isn't it that stuff? And that's exactly what it is. So silica gel is a synthetic material manufactured through this intense multi-step process that requires significant chemicals, water, and energy inputs, and results in like high levels of pollution and water waste. So just in general, silica gel is just terrible for the environment. Like they even said that China is like one of the highest manufacturers, and they've been trying to like scale down and close down factories because it's such a dirty, it just makes everything dirty, kind of.
Wow.
Whatever. But then even worse, and now this isn't for the pretty litter, but for silica gel that comes in those little packets that I was talking about, they call them Tyvek. Tyvek. It's this high density polyurethane. They're not biodegradable. They're difficult to recycle and basically just remain indefinitely in wildlife in the ecosystems. So it was kind of cool. I found an article that talks about how you can upcycle those silica gels. Basically, like leave them in a box of old photos. It'll stop it from like sticking or ruining the photos. You can put them in your jib bag. It's supposed to prevent mold and bacteria. You can put them on your windshield. It'll help defog stuff. You can put it with razor blades so they don't, so it absorbs moisture. But in general, you should never throw out those little silicone packets. So here I am looking for a litter that's supposed to be better for the environment. And the thing that's being pushed on me is probably even worse for the environment.
Were they claiming that it was better for the environment? Is that what you're saying?
They weren't, but they're basically like, in my mind, and I don't know if you're like this, I now do at least a 15% job that when I'm up buying something, I'm like, how bad is, like, can I, like, I'm starting to do reusable Ziploc bags. I want to get reusable paper towels. Like, I'm slowly starting to do like a little bit of like, let's clean it up a little bit and do your part, Liz. I have my water bottle and stuff like that. Like, so it's just, I'm just trying to be more conscious, but it's funny that I started looking up, because that's what it was. I was looking up environmentally friendly litter, and pretty litter is like just pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's the new litter. And
Do you think they just put a lot of money into search engine optimization if you put in kitty litter? It's just
any kind of litter.
Yeah.
So I told my mom, I don't think you've used it, but there's these corn pellets. Like, it's like litter made of corn, and that's biodegradable. So that's what I'm going to try.
Okay.
The thing is, I don't want my house to smell like a litter box. So it's going to be a mixture of caring about the environment and caring about my own personal environment.
Exactly.
Silica, bad news bears.
Does corn pellets smell like litter?
So it's not about it smelling like litter. It's about when they pee on it, if it absorbs it, and if it absorbs it, it'll hold the smell so that when, you're supposed to scoop every day, but sometimes, I'm so busy. I work 10 minutes a day.
And the poop.
So it's basically about it absorbing the smell a little bit so that your house doesn't smell. And so that's why, if you look at like regular clay litter, that's what they're always like, absorbs the smell. It'll be like, you don't even own a cat. And of course you're like, I don't own a cat. And then someone walks into your place and you're like, do you have 16 cats? Great. And then I'm sure I'll have a Google that's like, how do you get corn smell out of your house?
Seriously. They're like, silicone pads. You're like, God damn it.
Okay, what's your Google?
Okay, so because I had to Google again, probably for the third year in a row, what the difference is between Whole30 and Paleo is, which it's just Whole30 is more strict, but it's for 30 days. And then they start to ease up what the rules are. And Paleo is a bit easier, but it's a lifestyle change. That's what I think has happened.
True. And you did Paleo, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever do Whole30?
I never did Whole30. It almost looked the same.
Yeah, because
but they started changing the rules. I stopped doing anything like Paleo because when I started Paleo, you couldn't have white potatoes, and now somehow it became part of the rule. But I never believed in doing anything for 30 days. You should do it for your whole life.
Yeah, but it's so hard to keep it for your whole life.
For most people.
I think the idea is to like reset a little bit and like change because I think that if I give up sugar, if I give up sugar for 30 days, I'd obviously want a lot less than what I want now. I've like upped my sugar intake so much over the past couple of years.
The gummy bears.
Set it back down. The
gummy vitamins alone.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I start my day. I mean, so I kind of get that, like completely detox your body, get it all out of your system, and then reintroduce something healthier, like healthier habits. I don't know how well that works. I feel like you'll just end up back in the same place and having to repeat the diet every year. But I know one person who's been on keto for 3 years now, and he like lets himself have a break about like maybe once a week he'll eat carbs, but generally he just goes back to it. He's lost a ton of weight. He's maintained it. He looks great. He's also a man. But like, I just like, I guess it is maintainable. I did keto a couple years ago. I did drop weight, but then as soon as I went back to eating normally, which was inevitable, I gained a lot more. So I mean, this isn't something we haven't said a million times on the podcast before, but it's just that time of year for me to go, what diet am I doing? I guess.
Yeah.
January's coming.
Yeah.
I am. So, you know, I went back on sugar. I would say I'm not 100% back to sugar Liz, but I am about probably 50 to 60% back to sugar Liz. So I did it for 2.5 weeks. It actually was much easier than I thought. I saw how I maintained it. And that was like, I had fruit sugar because I've done it where you can't even have fruit sugar. So then my goal is, I think after the holidays, what have I been saying? I've been trying to go off for about 3 years.
Oh, gluten.
So I will, because I actually saw a little bit of let up with my eczema when I went off sugar, but really it's gluten and dairy. So I do think I'm going to go, maybe not dairy, I might kind of wait, but like gluten and sugar is going to be January 1st. And that's also the other thing about diets is like, I know that it's for about like losing weight and, you know, being healthy. And I don't know, Maria has psoriasis. So like we both have like, you can kind of tell our health when it comes to our skin. And that's usually what motivates me is my skin being itchy and being uncomfortable. But what's interesting is that if you go for something that's more about just feeling better, I think it will kind of help with the weight a little bit, as opposed to everybody this catch-all, do Whole30, do keto, do paleo, as opposed to if you found out you're allergic to tomatoes and you have a gluten intolerance, that would make more of a difference than just taking everything out that paleo tells you to take out. But that's a harder way to do it because we don't know what we're allergic to or what our body's upset about.
Yeah, we generally, because like, you know how I was having like stomach issues after I ate and I thought it was eggs. So I cut out eggs and then I still had stomach issues. So then I was like, oh, it must be avocado. So I cut out avocado and then I've been eating avocado lately and I've been fine. So I'm like, motherfucker, what is it? What is it? But I think with diets, I just think people want like, just to be told, just give me a set of rules and I'll follow them. I don't want to think about anything else. I don't want to have to like log how I'm feeling or whatever. I just want to like follow some rules for a while, lose the weight. And then, I mean, I don't think dieting works in the long run for anyone, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, of course. And I also think we are in a society, like, I wonder if we were in like Denmark where everything's like fresh and like, I don't know, you high five your dairy guy. Like, I don't know. I'm just making up what Denmark is now Beauty and the Beast.
No, but I get it. If you just cut out preservatives and like things that have preservatives in them to keep them fresher longer. If you just ate more fresh and like went to pick up your food that you're going to cook like on a daily basis rather than for the week, I don't know, like a fresher diet would probably help anybody. But it's also like I get bread, it's fresh bread and it tastes better. And then it's moldy within 3 hours. And then I'm like, well, that was a waste of money because I'm one person.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's
not home ever, you know.
I always kind of look like a bachelor. My fridge always has like 4 things that went bad two weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it's like there's a part of me that's like, what am I supposed to keep chickens in my bedroom? Like, what am I supposed to do to have things be fresh? Like, I think it's just, I think the fact that we're not like a community like we were, you know, even 50 years ago, like let alone the fact that we weren't supposed to be young women living on our own. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like every time we complain that like eggs go bad, they're just like, well, maybe if you had 16 children, you would be using all those eggs. Like,
yeah. Instead, you're letting your eggs go bad.
Nailed it, Maria. Nailed it. Let's get personal.
Yes.
Okay. This question. What are you currently worried about? The deep one.
Ooh.
Everything?
Everything? Are you worried about the pandemic? Are you worried about your own financial life? There's so many fun things to be worried about. Are you worried about the fact that Roe versus Wade's probably going to get overturned here? Or the fact that nobody cares about anybody and they're just like shooting people for funsies? I am so worried about Roe versus Wade right now. It's like, I feel, you know, when you're like on a plane and you feel like you're holding the plane up by like I can't sleep, like I have to make sure we get to Miami.
Yes.
Like I feel a little bit like every time I'm watching the news, even though it all looks like it's going to get overturned, like I just feel like I'm holding up women's rights every time I'm like walking around the house. I'm not, it stresses me out. And to the point where like I haven't watched the news that much since my mom's been here, and it's probably for the best because there was like, I was doing it every night before I went to bed and then having like apocalypse dreams.
That was like when Trump was being elected, and I was in London, so it was in the middle of the night, and the internet was shoddy. So I would watch, and then it would be like about even, and then the internet went out, and then every time I came back in, he was closer to winning, and I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? It felt like I was like in a haunted house, and every time the light flickered on, there was a monster getting closer and closer to me, and I'm like, oh. But I felt like because I was too far away to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Don't you feel like your worries are like, I feel like they start big and then they get smaller, and then before you go to bed they just get big again. Like it just feels like a an accordion of worries.
Oh, I wake up carefree and happy and like optimistic. It's going to be a good day. Anything can happen. Sun's shining, and then it just goes downhill from there. As the sun sets, I set. Like, I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. I start worrying about everything. I get paranoid. Depending on the time of month, I've noticed that like pre-period, I get very paranoid. I start thinking like everyone's a possible attacker. So I'm looking around me all the time at everyone, and like I'm like I feel like the world is against me and going to attack me for a few days, a month.
Do you think that's the withdrawal from coffee? Like coffee, you're just like, anything is possible. And then like as the caffeine and your
No, because I
insulin
wake up
drops,
like that before coffee, but I did think it was
Yeah.
she does, she pops out of bed. It's the creepiest thing. Our family does not pop.
and then, but like I thought it was alcohol. Like when I was drinking, I thought it was the alcohol withdrawal that was giving me anxiety around 5, 6
Yeah.
p.m. And I think that eased up a little, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. That's not what I'm worried about though. What is it, Dr. Terry? What are you worried about?
Believe it or not, still like COVID, like it's never going to end. I'm to that point where it's,
Is this our life now?
yeah, it's like
I-
really desperate. And it's not even about the mask, but is it going to be on the news all the time? It's a new variant. This country can't, you can't go on an airplane, you can't move. These countries can. It's almost like it's non-ending.
Yeah, I was starting to worry about that too. I was like, this isn't
Like it's
what is
always
what
a
it,
part
when is
of our life.
yeah, when is normal coming back? Like I don't think it's coming back. I don't think I can't foresee a time where it's like not going to be a concern. Like because I was thinking about, am I going to skip seeing my parents for the holidays? And then I'm like, and what holiday will it be safe again? They're fully vaccinated. They've got the booster. So then what year am I going to be like, okay, this is the year it's safe? Like it doesn't feel.
Like it'll ever end.
Yeah.
It actually kind of bums me out. I was looking for I had to look through pictures, and you're always looking for a picture to make a poster, and you're like, nobody will know I'm 20 in this picture, right? Like, I'm just
Yes.
I'm like scrolling. I'm just trying to look for a picture where my hair looks good, and I'm just like, whoa, we've gone back too far, Elizabeth. I'm like 14, and I'm like, I looked good that day. But I was scrolling, and it really, I hit like 2019, 2018, and I was like, oh fuck, it's weird to even think like there was a time where none of this was our problem. Like
I just read a diary entry from January 1st, 2020 that was like, I just love typing 2020. I like the way it sounds. I like the way it looks.
You're so hopeful.
I can't wait for what this year is going to bring. And it was like, so
that was New Year morning Maria energy right there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It really is insane to think about. Like, I don't know if it's okay. When you get a cold and you can't breathe out of your nose, and like it just like you're just like, oh, I hate that I feel my nose. I hate that I'm constantly just gross. And then just one day you wake up and your nose is a little less stuffy, and then the next day it's like it never even happened.
Yeah.
Like I just know when this isn't, whenever it is that we don't have to constantly be thinking about the variant, and like I just shook someone's hand and I know that guy's gross, and like, you know what I mean? Like just when that, like, I'm just so excited to like breathe out of my face again kind of feeling of COVID, like just being like, and weirdly how grateful the entire world will feel. Although let's hope that we all prepare for the next pandemic. Like, the fact that there were so many things that were like, a pandemic is going to happen. It's happened before. And we're like, what? That's not our problem.
Yeah.
All right. Topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I think that question went right into our topic, which is anti-aging products, secrets in the industry.
Don't
There's
live through a pandemic.
yeah. Just the same way that Obama aged so rapidly, just being the president. I just feel like this year aged everybody. Hence why like everybody got into skincare. And I have a couple of skincare jokes that I do on stage. And I'm like, did anybody else get into skincare TikTok? And there's always like 4 girls that are like, yes. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I have a 45-minute skincare regimen now. 1, because I had the time, but 2, because it's like, I don't know. I wake up every day with like just more lines, just stressed out lines on my face.
Oh my God.
But I feel bad for anybody that was just like, oh, I'm going to wake up every morning and start my day fresh. And you're just like eyes bulging and you're like, that can't be good for wrinkles. But I looked up, I don't know what you guys looked up, but my first thing was like, you put in like anti-aging secrets and it makes me, I was telling my mom yesterday, it makes me laugh every time because the word secrets, nobody knows that definition in skincare because it's always like, wear sunscreen, you know, take your makeup off, and you're like, these aren't secrets. Like this, a secret is something nobody knows, or it's like, you know, passed down.
I want you to tell me about some tree in the Amazon that like secretes sap that has like anti something properties that make my cheeks go up like this.
Exactly. That's a secret. I want to ruin a forest so that I feel good about myself. That's a secret. Not telling me to wear sunscreen that I can get at CVS. Like, so I'll give you, we'll start with just this like silly list and then we can kind of branch out to what you guys found. But literally, so this is from HeidiPal.com because I just thought it was so funny that this woman's like secrets. And then it was like the most mundane things you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Number 1 is sunscreen, which it is valid. There's not my mom sneaking. Did you? If you told me, I would have muted it. But instead, she crawled on the floor to sneeze. Apologize. This is nothing matters. But I'm not even joking. My mom just slid down.
I hardly sneeze. I should wash my hands.
Go wash your hands. It's fine. She just crawled on the floor and sneezed on the floor. That was my favorite.
That was
part
awesome.
Good job, Mom. Marie, she's blaming you for that sneeze.
I felt like it was my fault. I was like, did I do that somehow? Did I send it over?
You did.
I'll be cuddling with Johnny and then I'll have to sneeze and I'm like, there's no time. I feel bad. I like throw him off of me. Like blow it that way.
You get COVID by Zoom.
Yeah, Zoom COVID. It's the new strand, Zoom COVID.
But yeah.
Okay. Number 1 is sunscreen. Everybody knows that. Even estheticians are just like sunscreen. That's, you know, whatever. Then get enough sleep. Don't you feel like that bothers you even when a doctor tells you that? You're like, you don't think I'm trying? You don't think I'm trying to get enough sleep?
Yeah.
Don't neglect it. The first one was sunscreen.
Gotcha. That's like the number 1, like any
everybody
person will tell you sunscreen.
Unanimous. It doesn't matter who you talk to. They're just like sunscreen. I mean, there was a song about it in the 90s. Wear sunscreen. Don't neglect your neck, which who's neglect? I always they say put everything that's on your face on your neck because your neck actually ages. They say your hands and your neck age really fast.
My neck is aging. My neck is aging and I'm so like, if you talk about things we're worried about,
I have the tree lines.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Never.
So like,
I have the tree lines. Do you have the tree lines?
Yeah, they're getting there. Those tree lines are happening, but I'm actually more worried about these like vertical like wrinkles that are like, they're kind of like forming on my neck. And I think it's because I've been like struggling to swallow for 30 years that like, I just think it's finally getting to me because that and the smoking, but like, I was always like just trying to shove things down my throat. And I think it's just, my neck is, I have an 80-year-old neck.
I don't think that's true.
I do.
But do you put all the stuff you put on your face, do you put it on your neck?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe it's probably thinner, right? Like the same way they say the under your eye stuff is thinner.
Yeah, it's definitely thinner. Yeah. That's the problem.
Number 4, I was like, they said rose oil. I've never even heard of rose oil. I've heard of like the rose water. And it's like every old lady. Did your mom use rose oil or rose water?
Never heard of it.
Rose water, they put in everything and it's just the thing. And then I've read that it's like stupid and I've read that it's like quintessential for any skincare. I've never heard of rose oil. So of course I'm going to go look it up. And
what does it do?
I don't know. I didn't get that far into this blog.
I got you. This blog.
This one actually does feel like a secret. Use eye cream for your lips. I guess lips do age and they are thinner. They are thin, just like, so it's just basically saying if you use it for your eyes, it's good for your lips as well. Moisturize your hands. Again, your hands age probably faster than anything. And we're also like constantly washing them and doing stuff with them. Drink more water. I feel like everybody would agree with that. They said exercise every day. It could be 5 minutes or 50 minutes. I mean, these are some very rich white ladies making this. So good for you being able to exercise every day, ladies.
Yeah.
Wear sunglasses. That's supposed to prevent you from squinting and, wrinkles like crow's nest, but like in general, just like protecting your eyes. They wrote don't ever retire, which is like, okay. But I think they just mean like keep busy. So like,
Yeah, I think just so that your brain stays young.
And then laugh about life, which is like done.
Yeah, on it. That one is like
You're helping people.
Yeah, if you look young, me and Maria did it. That was us.
That was all us.
We say idiot things in a podcast and tell jokes.
I think we stress a lot of people out too. I think they yell at their phone or their speaker.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's misinformation. Don't tell the people that. So that was it just made me laugh because that was the first thing that came up. And then of course, like I have so many other lists, but there's like, it's just all these like anti-aging secrets just makes me laugh.
There's no secrets then. So, I mean, like nothing was really all that, I don't know. Do you know how like you could put milk with magnesia on your face and it like takes away the shine? But I guess those are beauty tips. That's not like anti-aging secrets.
Yeah.
There's real issue with the term anti-aging because it's like, don't age, just stay young forever.
But it's also inevitable. Like that's the thing is that like I get the stress of it. The same way we kind of when we talked about the balding episode, it's like I had hair and now you're taking it away from me and I have zero choice about it. Like that is like devastating. So I think the same way that like especially because this industry just bullies women into being like, if you're not 25 forever, you're useless. And you're like, cool. So if we're 25, we're idiots and look pretty. And if you're over 25, you're also idiots and you don't look pretty. Like it just, the society just makes you feel worthless and you have value for like the amount of people that are just like, you should find a man before you expire. And you're like, oh,
gross.
Use those eggs.
Yeah, you do feel like a brown ass banana at Trader Joe's. It's like, please buy me. I'm gonna be useless in a week.
Yeah, and I think, and it's funny. There's this esthetician that I follow. I really like her. Named Charlotte. Shit, I should know what her last name is. But she had this whole thing that was like, do men actually age better than women, or have we as a society allowed men to age? Because if you look at, George Clooney, he doesn't look 25. We've just said that older men can look regal. But then we look at somebody that's he's probably almost 60. And we look at 60-year-old women now and we say, well, that's not regal. That's just old. So it's also very interesting that, George Clooney does not look 25, but we consider him handsome. But then there's this belief that as women Silver fox, exactly. Silver fox. Look, my mom's hair is blue. You can't see it too well. My mom's just like, I'm never gonna age. I'll just make my hair blue and purple.
I love that.
But like, I understand taking care of your skin. I understand, in some of these, like we said, like, sunscreen is just good so you don't get cancer. Drinking water is just good so your organs work. And we've talked about this stuff a million times. I think there is an insecurity and there is a care, especially being on the like Hollywood front of, an industry. But at the same time, there is a lot of like inner work you have to do, which is like, I tell people I'm 36 years old, which again isn't like old, but eventually I'm going to have to tell people that I'm 46 and then I'm 50. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm not all that impressed that you tell people you're 36. Like,
you should be. I started when I was 16 and some people don't think I age. Like, I mean, up until a couple of years ago, people were like, how's college? And you're like, dude, that was 15 years ago.
Oh, like, I thought you were saying you weren't ashamed of being 36. I'm like, who would be?
No. Then that's what I'm saying. It's like 36 isn't old, but you have to understand I've been in this industry since I was 16 years old. Like there's people that also don't know how old I am. And I do think I do think in some ways I'm grateful. Like we have good skin. Like we just, I don't know if it's oily skin or whatever, but like my mom's actually 100. It's crazy. She looks incredible. But like because you're not like a big skincare regimen.
No, not at all.
She really isn't, but she looks amazing. And it's like,
it's pretty bad. that I do nothing.
But you didn't wear a lot of makeup.
And I don't wear makeup at all.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen my mom wear makeup like 4 times. And then she also like makes stress faces. So I can't believe her face didn't stay that way. Just from the yelling alone, I thought you'd have more lines. But like I do think both my parents, I think we have oily skin, and that's kind of been helpful in general. But like I've only started like really caring about my skin in like the last maybe 3 years, like slightly before the pandemic. And it's interesting to see that like I think it's a little bit because I see my face is changing, and that's scary to me.
Yeah.
But then also the society in this industry, and then being single, I wonder if I would care this much if I wasn't single.
Yeah.
Because there are comedians that are like literally like as soon like I think it was John Fish had a joke that he was like starting to bald, and he's like, I gotta find a wife fast.
It really is a lot harder because people, I mean, yeah, it's all about the first impression. If I walk up to someone with necklines, they're gonna be like, cool. I don't know.
But also, I mean, as this is gonna sound silly, as a short person, what I have to worry about is different than somebody that makes full eye contact. Like I
What do
feel
you mean?
like nobody's ever gonna see like half of my body because I'm down here. Like, do you know how many people that like don't know what my full face looks like? Or I'm like this, like I'm just staring up.
That's really funny. Yeah, I went to somebody's birthday drinks at a pub the other day, and the whole time I was like this, and I was like, my neck hurts. Like my neck hurts. This is bullshit. I was like, can we not find a seat, everybody? No, already.
I remember, so my mom met my friend Rachel that's been helping with my apartment. She's like, I think she's like 5'10", 5'11", and then her husband is the same height, and we're all friends, and we would hang out, and then they would come over and literally give me a hug, and I was like, I feel like you're adopting me. I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot. You are too tall of a couple. I don't like this. Drives me nuts. But it is, I don't know. So this is the interesting thing. They say the most powerful anti-aging ingredient is retinol, which we've done a bunch of Googles on retinol. It's the only thing I've seen across the board where it gets prescribed. I mean, they have some of it that's over the counter, and they do say it works, but it's the one thing of all the anti-aging things they say, it's the one thing that's that evidence-based. They say it's best evidence-based that has the benefits, and all retinoids are just some form of vitamin A that occur naturally. But retinol, it encourages cell turnover. I had a joke that I took out of my act when I was trying to do these skincare bits for a corporate thing, but I really liked it, where I was just like, they say there's cell turnover, but I wake up every morning with the same face. You know what I mean? I thought it worked like baby teeth, where like I wake up with like a better, straighter face.
Yeah. Have you ever looked into
Would never
chemical
have said
peels?
that.
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, that
I
did
was
wrong with me. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, and that's why I got taken out of the act. Enjoy that little gem of awfulness, guys. Nobody likes my retinol jokes.
Retinol.
Did you find anything online that seemed interesting? I didn't find anything that like blew my mind.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this again real quick. Retinol.
Get it in there. Sorry, my cackle overdid your punchline. Retinol.
Chemical peels. That's the answer.
To learn about them because I don't get them. Like I don't get them physically, and I don't get them emotionally, like mentally.
It's acid on your skin that takes away the first layer of your skin and then reveals the red shit underneath, the new skin, the skin that becomes the glowy skin. Yeah, so it takes like 7 days. You can't talk to anyone for like 7 days because you're a red-faced monster.
I heard that. Like, do you remember my sister was looking at wedding venues years ago, and she ran into a friend from college, and the girl was like, "Don't look at me. I just had a chemical peel."
Oh, that's awesome.
That can't be good.
It can't be good.
Yeah, it can. I can't wait to get one.
Chemical peel?
No, I'm gonna have one though.
No.
Oh.
So
Why?
why do they say that
Does
it
it
works?
hurt?
It sounds like it hurts. You're like,
It does work. It does hurt, I think. A chemical peel is a restorative cosmetic procedure that may help reduce signs of aging on your face. During a
May?
chemical peel, yeah, well, yeah, you gotta put may, 'cause if they say will, there's all kinds of trouble. A dermatologist will apply a chemical solution to your skin. The solution peels away damaged skin, allowing skin to grow in their place. So I think it does what retinol does, but at a much faster, more intense pace. So it improves wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, acne, and uneven skin texture, which is why I wanted to look into it. Because I mean, these lights are gorgeous. They make me look gorgeous, but like I have acne scars. And so like lasers mixed with chemical peels are supposed to help all that. I've yet to be okay with my face, and I've tried things for decades. So like, I don't know how much anything actually works.
Your face is my favorite face.
Oh, thanks, Muffin. That's nice. All right. So there's you can get different levels.
Said about this chemical peel that I just learned about.
There you can get different levels of chemical peels. It's for rosacea, acne scars, aging skin, hyperpigmentation, dullness, precancerous growths. Way to get like everyone, because as someone in the world is gonna have.
You had a bad day, get a chemical peel. You don't like your partner, get a chemical peel.
Ooh, it's best to avoid chemical peels if you have sagging skin, deep wrinkles or scars, frequently developed cold sores, gross, psoriasis. So the recovery process, you have to have a protective ointment, and you have to wear sunscreen, of course. But you can have swelling, redness, stinging, huh?
You can't leave the house. It's like getting plastic surgery where you like have to hide out.
Yeah, you can't have makeup on for 5 to 7 days. Yeah, you do have to kind of hide out. I mean, you can go out, but like you really you have to cover up, and you probably just don't want to see people. And if you get a deep chemical peel, there's crusting, swelling, and severe redness involved for 14 days.
What?
I know, it's very like sci-fi, isn't it? It's just like having acid poured on your face, and then you come out like a.
And then you come out as like people are like, are you 26 again?
Yeah. Yeah. I hid out for 14 days. I'm now younger. I don't know how.
But also like, how did because I've heard about chemical peels forever. How'd you do that before Amazon? Like before delivery services?
Oh,
like,
right. I know. Yeah. Cause I remember Samantha got a chemical peel on Sex and the City, and that was like in the 90s, like late 90s. So it's just like, they had to go out to get stuff done, food and stuff. You could
you look like a monster for 14 days so that you can look beautiful all the time. I guess I get the trade-off, but that sounds awful.
This is what we do. This is what women do to remain relevant.
It's insane. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. All right. You don't have to do it. I'll probably do it at some point.
Take pictures.
I will.
Instagram day one.
We could probably just YouTube how to do it and then do it ourselves.
Oh God! Oh God!
I trust Dr. Terry to do
blind. Did I tell you? Because I did. I think we both did the eyelash perm.
Oh yeah.
So whenever I look something up, I look to see how damaging it is, what they're actually doing, the benefits. Like I look up everything before I decide to do something. And I think it's like pro cons. I don't think you should do it often. But what's interesting is whenever you look up how something works, you get how to do it yourself. So there's a girl, keep in mind, like your eyes are pretty much closed. But like this girl's doing it herself. And so of course they were like, do not do it yourself. You're going to burn your eyeballs out. But it's so funny to watch somebody do it themselves. And you're like, what, like to save $40, like just
on your eyeball,
Like it is not that saving 40 and not being able to see again. It's like,
yeah, definitely not worth it. Just
what are we doing, guys?
It's
ladies.
Yeah, it's a relaxing process. You can just sit back, listen to a podcast, have your eyeballs.
I try to meditate. I fall asleep because I've had it done twice. I'll I'll try to use these situations where like my eyes are closed and I can't do anything, and they leave you alone for 10 minutes as stuff sets, and I'll try to meditate. And twice I've fallen asleep to the point where they're like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm really becoming my dad, which is like, if you leave me alone for 5 minutes, I will fall asleep on your couch.
Yeah. I love that you can't just lie somewhere. You have to be doing something productive.
Oh yeah, I have to be meditating and bettering myself. I can't just enjoy a moment.
I guess I'm similar. I mean, I would listen to a podcast to better myself, listen to what's going on in the news, etc.
Yeah. But yeah, as somebody that I've been fighting meditating for 10 years, I thought, all right.
I just always wonder why some people age more gracefully than others. I just want to know, like, is it that like one person just never smoked a cigarette in the day in their life or had a drink, while other people, like, I mean, I guess it's that. I guess it's just lifestyle choices. But like,
even like what Paul said in his fan mail, I think genetics are going to have some contribution, so that like if the same way that like just because your grandmother had breast cancer does not mean you're going to get breast cancer, but there's a more likelihood that you'll get breast cancer depending on how you live your life. So that if maybe you are drinking and doing drugs and, I don't know, sunbathing or what, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't, it's not a death sentence, but it is a easier shift to turn on that breast cancer, gene or whatever. So the same thing, I think with aging, I think, you have a darker skin complexion. I'm even, this light is terrible, but I have an olivey skin complexion. Then you have, other people of color that have different skin complexions, which does give you some protection from the sun. So right there, that can kind of be helpful. Then if you are somebody that isn't in the sun all the time, you don't work outside, or you have sunscreen, that's going to help you. Then if you're somebody that does drink a lot of water, maybe if you're somebody that naturally your job, you have to walk 20 miles, not 20 miles, like 20 minutes to something.
I actually wonder if the city you live in also plays it. Like if, you living in Brooklyn, New York City, you're going to have air pollution, and that's all going to be contributing to how like shit your skin is compared to somebody who's been living out in the mountainside.
100%. I absolutely think pollution has something to do with it. And then even some of the stuff I put on is supposed to kind of help you a little bit from pollution. But also keep in mind, I'm walking so much more than somebody that might be, I don't know, in North Carolina that just gets in their car. They're in their car from point A to point B. So yes, you might not be getting as much pollution as I'm getting, but you're also not moving your body and making, moving things around as much. So I think it's all going to be that kind of mishmash, but I do think, alcohol is a poison and we're just pretending that it's not. Even you were looking up, the fact that we used to be able to smoke on planes, indoors. Remember, like you go to TGI Fridays and there's a smoking section and it's just right there. You know what I mean? Like
Secondhand smoke.
Yeah, secondhand smoke actually, I think, had a huge influence on people. So I do wonder if laws changing, Singapore, for every one person, they have to plant 7 trees, and they've done so much with planting stuff on their bridges and trees that they have least pollution in Asia. So I even wonder, like, depending on where you are, like, I don't know. There's like stuff like that I wonder.
That country, I love them. That with their like gum is illegal. But I mean, and also like I think, like you said, stressful job, like, because Jennifer Aniston has decidedly aged better than the rest of the cast of Friends, but she doesn't have kids. She has time to exercise. She has the money to have like a personal trainer, probably a nutritionist, someone cooking for her.
I mean, she's also got work done. I mean, it does. We've talked.
There's that too, but I'm just saying, like that's why I compared it to the rest of the cast of Friends and not a regular human being.
Yeah.
But because they all have the money, but but like Courtney Cox. Well, I mean, Courtney Cox I think she overdid it with everything she was putting. There's a point where you just look older than you are, probably because you look like somebody who's 80 who has that much put into their face, and somebody who's 60 who has that much put into their face end up having the same face. So that person who's 60 looks like they're 80.
Also, I was saying this to my mom yesterday. I was just like, clearly Botox and, fillers and all these things, they have some value. They work in some way, but I think you can be addicted to the results and they don't give you the same results each time. And the next thing you know, you've done so much to your face and you don't know why you did it because it worked 5 years ago.
Do you think and we can end on this, do you think it's a needle thing? Because like if acupuncture, the whole point of it is you stick a needle in your skin and then your brain sends feel-good signals down to that area. Maybe like with tattoos are addicting, piercings are addicting. And if Botox and injections are addicting, maybe it's just that people are addicted to that feel of the needle, and then your brain releasing like feel-good hormones going to that part of your skin.
Maybe that's why there's going to be 16 boosters for the vaccine.
Yeah, give me another fucking booster. I'm ready.
Yeah. Like the people not getting vaccinated just don't know how good it feels to be vaccinated.
Incredible. Yeah, I think people are just addicted to things puncturing their skin, and they should just take some serotonin gummies.
Serotonin and CBD gummies, guys. But it is funny because I gave my mom some of those CBD gummies when we had that sponsor, and I was like, did it do anything for you? She's like, no, but they were delicious.
Yeah. They
a
were,
gummy.
I had the oil, the banana strawberry oil. Oh my God, it tasted so good.
But yeah, we could leave on that note. I would love for you guys to write in if you do actually have any like family anti-aging secrets, if even like emotionally what you've done to just accept the fact that we are just aging. Like I think it's a mix of like I want to put potions on my face and feel like I'm doing something, but also I just want to accept that I'm not 22 anymore and that's okay. And I don't need to. There's a 22-year-old out there. They can go be 22 for me. Like I don't need to be that.
Yeah.
So I think both writing in for like the emotional aspects of it, just accepting yourself, because I think that's important when society tells you not to. But then also if I could just rub an avocado on my face and take off a year, I do still want to do that. You can write to us. Where can they write to us, Maria?
At gmail.com. It's a Gmail.
What is that again?
It's a 2 full word doctors at gmail.com. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks,
for
Dr.
coming.
Terry.
It's always fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.